Just like the street lights lit this town, like a fire in a blaze, gotta burn it down. Can't be afraid to leave this out. We got this far, don't know how. I see danger in your eyes. They know we'll burn down the night. Coming just like the sunrise. You know that we gonna let it away. Tonight, we gonna let it away. Tonight, we gonna let it away. Just like the sunrise, we gonna let it away. Just like a spark that's breaking out. Can't make a stop, can't turn back now. We know that there's no room for doubt. No, we can't turn back now. I see danger in your eyes. They know we'll burn down the night. Coming just like the sunrise. You know that we gonna let it away. Tonight, we gonna let it away. Tonight, we gonna let it away. Just like the sunrise, we gonna let it away.
Hey guys, and welcome to tonight's live. How's everybody doing? Hopefully you guys are having a great weekend, a great Saturday. It is the weekend, thank goodness. And hopefully you're not being hit by storms and tornadoes right now, because I hear that that is going on in some of the states. So hopefully that's not happening where you're at and you're safe and secure in your home right now. But if you're new to the channel, my name is Tanya or TitaniumBuilt. It's nice to meet you. Nice to see you back if you're returning. And we're going to talk about Idaho 4 tonight. We actually had podcasts come out that we've been following since like the beginning, since they've come out with the podcast. And they came out with a new episode. You don't have to be following along with the podcast in order to know what's going on. Obviously, if you know the case, you'll know what's going on. It's going to be over the 911 call. So that's what we're going to talk about this evening anyway. So it worked out perfect. So hopefully everybody's doing good. You guys can hear me okay. Everybody's doing okay. We'll see who's in the chat and we'll say hi. That way we can let some people kind of come in, and then we'll start with the podcast first. So we'll start with the best first. And then I do have the 911 call cleaned up, and it has captions. So we'll watch that afterwards. But hey, Catherine, and hey, Ladybug. Hey, Mike. Hey, Dawn. It's good to see you guys. Hey, Chai. Did you have a milestone? I didn't see it. Is it 6 months? I think it might be. And if it is, thank you so much. It didn't pop up for me. I don't know why. But it does stay purple for a while, and then it goes to like purple and all kinds of different colors. It's all kind, like when you're here for a year. Now we needed a year and a half one, a 2-year one. Wedding's coming up, Mike. Oh, nice. Hey, Tempest. And Marlene, we heard what you said. Mandy. We already played the 911 call, though. So, hey, Scene Check. Yeah, learning to find out the truth. Me too. Hey, Catherine. I'm ready to see that 3D rendition of the house. I want to see it all. I am so ready. Me too. Yeah. Well, I'm surprised you haven't found our chat beforehand then. Hey, Karina. Welcome in. We've been following it since it happened too. We're just over here on the other side of YouTube, the good side. Hey, Sailor. Hey, Hindsight. Hey, Lenora. The good side, I said. Hey, Tennessee gal. Hopefully you're doing well. And if I miss you, I'm sorry. Miss Lenora's in here. Hey, Suyen, is that how you say it? Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you for the compliment. Thank you for the compliment. That was nice. Oh, look, there it is. I did. Okay. We got it. Okay. I see it now. I was like, I couldn't see it. I was going to feel bad if it, because sometimes it'll delete your chat. So if you come into a chat early and you comment, sometimes it'll delete that comment. It's not me deleting it. It's just like YouTube deletes them. I don't know why. It's really stupid. I don't like it. Hey, Roxanne. Hey, Kellyanne. Welcome in. Hey, Poindexter. Hey, Panda Ann. Ange. Hey, welcome in, everybody. I think I'm almost to the bottom. Hey, PKC. Welcome in, everyone. It's good to see you guys. If I haven't seen you in a while, it's good to see you even more. Oh, you had Detour to Target. The little one loves Dr. Seuss. They begged me to stop for a book. Oh, Tempest. They do have some really good Dr. Seuss books there. I always look at their book section because it's right by the pet section. And I just happen to be going that way. I look in every section, actually, when I'm at Target. Every section is a good section. Actually, I have the 911 call up, but I wanted to put up this. Okay. So what we'll do is what we normally do. I'll play the podcast, but I will also put up overlays. That way you have something to look at. That's not just the writing, on the podcast, because that kind of like isn't very fun. Thank you, Kellyanne. I appreciate that. Hey, Peaky. Good evening. It's good to see you. It's good to see everyone. Okay. So we'll go ahead. We'll get right into it. It's 31 minutes on here. And if you're coming in and you saw the trailer, that is the trailer for this whole podcast. If you want to watch more episodes of this podcast, I do have the podcast linked in the description. Also, if you go to my videos, anything under Idaho 4 playlist or the case against Bryan Kohberger, I believe the podcasts are on both of those. So if you did want to go back and watch all the episodes, all at once, they're all there. So, and then that way you'll have visuals to look at while you're listening to the podcast. So we'll go ahead. We'll get into it. I have us all the way over here. Do I have us on the right one? Yeah, I do. Okay. Thank you guys for being here. If you guys don't mind, take a second, hit the like button. It really does help the channel. It'll get more people in to watch the show with us. And if you appreciate the content, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Also hit the bell icon to be alerted to all new content I put out. And also I pinned the link for the panel. If anyone wants to come up and talk or say anything, it's there. It is there for us to do that. So, okay. So resume this, and it might be on a commercial. So let me see.
Came to an end in recent days with the release of
situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
Hey, Prime members, are you tired of
the King Road killings? With Bryan Kohberger's trial just 5 months away, there's been a lot of secrecy surrounding the case. Some of that came to an end in recent days with the release of key court documents. And now, for the first time, we heard the 911 call. It was made over 7 hours after Kaylee Gonzalez, Madison Mogen, Xana Kernodle, and Ethan Chapin were killed. In this episode, we're going to play that call for you in full. This sudden flurry of information is in part because of the change of venue. which moved the location of the trial from Moscow, Idaho, where the murders took place, to Boise. With that change came a new judge who was assigned to the case in November, Judge Stephen Hippler. And Hippler, seemingly, has lost patience with the way the case has been handled so far. He said the case has infringed on the public's First Amendment right to know about the court's progress, because the prosecution and defense have been trying to seal so much of the material that will be presented in court. What we've learned in the past few days could change the way we see this whole case and answer questions that have been brewing since the murders happened more than 2 years ago. In this episode, I'm going to talk with two people who've been following this case closely. First, we'll speak with ABC News contributor Julie Scott. She's a journalist who's based in Moscow, Idaho. And then I'll be joined by ABC News legal contributor Brian Buckmeyer to talk about the legal strategy that's been playing out behind closed doors. Julie, I want to jump right into this 911 call because it's never been heard publicly before. And a reminder, this is the call that was made more than 7 hours after the horrifying murders, and it was placed just before noon the following day.
Thanks, Kana. As you know, we've been following this for a long time, and what's been shrouded in secrecy has been what happened during those hours. We know from the probable cause affidavit that law enforcement thinks that the murders happened between 4 and 4:20, roughly. But we didn't know is what happened after that.
Yeah, and until now, that period of time has been a mystery. But a new filing shows us that during the night, there were several instances where one of the surviving roommates tried to call and text their friends in the house, and then hours of silence. At 10:23 a.m., one of the surviving roommates texts Haley and Madison saying, "Please answer. Are you up?" And it's not until 11:55 that 911 is called. We're going to play that call for you now. It's very chaotic and at times uncomfortable. The whole thing is about 4 minutes long.
911 location of your emergency.
Hi, something is happening. Something happened in our house. We don't know what.
What is the address of the emergency?
1122.
What is the rest of the address?
Oh, Kings Road.
Okay. And is that a house or an apartment?
It's a house.
Can you repeat the address to make sure that I have it right?
I'll talk to you guys. We live at the White, so we're next to them.
I need someone to repeat the address for verification.
The address, 1122 King Road.
And what's the phone number that you're calling from?
What's your phone number?
And tell me exactly what's going on.
One of the roommates has passed out, and she was drunk last night, and she's not waking up.
Okay.
Oh, and they saw some man in their house last night. Yeah. Hi, this is.
And are you with the patient? Okay, I need someone to keep the phone, stop passing it around.
Can I just tell you what happened pretty much?
What is going on currently? Is someone passed out right now?
I don't really know, but pretty much at 4 a.m.
Okay, I need to know what's going on right now if someone is passed out. Can you find that out?
Yeah, I'll come. Come on, but we gotta go check. But we have to. Is it passed out?
I want to know what that noise is in the background. That it sounds like almost like typing. Maybe it's the 911 dispatcher typing something up.
She's not waking up.
Okay, one moment. I'm getting help started that way.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, and how old is she?
She's 20.
20, you said?
Yes, 20 here.
Okay.
Hello? Hello?
Okay, I need someone to stop passing the phone around because I've talked to 4 different people.
Okay, sorry, they just gave me the phone.
Is she breathing?
Hello?
Is she breathing?
No.
Okay.
You need to talk to them, okay? I can't talk to them. I need you to talk to them.
Hello.
Okay. I have already sent the ambulance and law enforcement. Stay on the line. If there is a defibrillator available, send someone to get it now and tell me when you have it.
Say that again. There's a police here right now.
Okay. If there's a defibrillator available, send someone to get it now and tell me when you have it.
We don't have one. I think yes. Do you have a defibrillator? Yes, we have one.
Are you talking to the officer?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to let you go since he's there with you and can help you.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Okay.
You can hear the agony in a lot of this call. Julie, after listening to it, what are your thoughts?
Hearing now the 911 call is truly astonishing and emotional, and it puts you back in that scene. It wasn't just the 2 surviving roommates on the phone with dispatch. There were friends, and we knew that friends were called to come to the house. But what we're hearing is chaos and disbelief and screams. You hear different people on the call, and the dispatcher clearly getting frustrated, and the dispatcher asking them to please go check. Go check and see if this person, what is happening right now? That's what the dispatcher wants to know. What's happening right now so she can alert police. And you hear that attempt to go check on their roommate, their friend. And you hear faint, you can hear it in the background, the name. It's Xana. She's not waking up. And they're trying to explain what happened or what they think they saw or heard. Can I just tell you what happened, what I think happened? The dispatcher is asking them, who's ever on the phone, please go check. I need to know what the emergency is. It's still unclear. And who's ever on the phone at that time says, we have to go check. We have to. And there's resistance. There's fear. I don't want to, but we have to. It shakes me. It's one thing to read it. It's another to hear it.
In this moment, I'm reminded of a conversation I had a while ago with Kaylee Gonzalez's mom. And Christy told me that she really hoped the 911 call would never come out. She didn't want to hear it. For whatever reason, all the details of this case, this is one of the hardest parts for her. It's been incredibly unsettling. And now that it's been released, the family gave me a statement about it. I'm going to read part of it for you. It says, it's raw, it's jagged, a searing, unvarnished truth.
We're going to pause her real quick because they didn't write this to her. They wrote this on their Facebook wall. She's taking an excerpt out of what they wrote on their Facebook wall and saying that they gave it to her, apparently. I don't know. Maybe they said maybe they're using the same thing for everybody, but I don't know. It's just kind of weird.
That no camera could ever hope to capture. Every breath, every cry, every tremor in the voice reveals a reality so cruel, so brutally honest, it cuts deeper than anything fiction could ever devise. It's all
She just put
so
an extra couple words.
unbelievable. And the thing is that while we have a lot more questions than answers after this call was released, the audio of it, we do have a transcript of the call. We also have transcripts of these text messages now. And so we sort of have an order of events here, Julie. And what does that really reveal?
We have a timeline now with the verbatim of text messages coming back and forth between 4 and 4:30, roughly. And it's the two surviving roommates discussing what one of the roommates saw. All we had was what was in the affidavit. And that in itself, it shakes me. She opened her door 3 times during that time period. She described seeing someone clad in black with bushy eyebrows. And when she saw that man, she then went and retreated to her room and locked the door. And that's what we knew. Now we know that she was corresponding with the other roommate about those actual events.
I have this filing in front of me. It starts to really give you the timeline here. From 4:19 to 4:21, the surviving roommate on the second floor, the one who told authorities she saw someone clad in black in the home, attempts to call not only the roommate on the first floor, but also Xana Kernodle, Kaylee Gonzalez, and Madison Mogan. The filing says all of those calls are unanswered. Then between 4:22 and 4:24, she texts back and forth with the surviving roommate on the first floor. And it starts with the roommate on the second floor saying, "No one is answering. I'm really confused." Then the roommate on the first floor sends a text message to the roommate on the second floor saying, "Yeah, dude, WTF. Xana was wearing all black." Next text is from the roommate on the second floor to the roommate on the first floor saying, "No, it's like a ski mask almost."
Right. So in the confusion, she's thinking, and we can go back to the probable cause affidavit, but she's thinking, what did I just see? Was that Xana? Or no, it can't be, because there was someone in a ski mask. That's giving the first signs of a description of what the surviving roommate actually saw.
And then you really see the fear set in. And the roommate there on the first floor saying, "Come to my room, run down here." 4:27, the roommate on the second floor again calls Kaylee Gonzalez. And at 4:32, pleading with her over text message to answer her phone.
I mean, it sends chills every time I look at that correspondence. But we know at that point, most likely from the probable cause affidavit and the police reports, that Kaylee is probably dead at that point.
And as we learn about these text messages, we learn about the 911 call. This is all after Kohberger's lead attorney, Ann Taylor, has really tried to create some questions about the surviving roommate, about her credibility overall. And they even bring up this description of bushy eyebrows. And right now, Kohberger's defense team does not want her to be able to use that description in court.
Which is really interesting. Again, we're learning a lot of information that we never had. We didn't have a description of the surviving roommate's room. But Kohberger's team is saying that when police photographed the crime scene right after the killings, her room was found to have had many pictures of eyes with prominent eyebrows on the walls in her room. Many of which, and this is a direct quote, many of which she had drawn. Some of the eyebrows are heavy, they have volume, they're puffy, or perhaps subjectively bushy. And then there was artwork of human figures with an emphasis on the eyes and eyebrows.
Are these drawings maybe, I mean, is she microblading? Because if you think about it, 2 years ago, thicker eyebrows were totally in. So maybe she was just drawing what was in at the time. Just like if I were to draw back from the early 2000s, I would draw no eyebrows because we plucked them all so much to where we had none left. I don't know though. I would like to see the drawings. I would love to see the drawings. We've seen pictures of her room and we have yet to see any of the drawings.
So in prior hearings, defense attorney Ann Taylor had said that the roommate had admitted she had too much to drink and could not remember. And that is a direct quote. The defense is saying that the numerous stories that were given after the murders by the surviving roommate are inconsistent. And what they're trying to paint here, and you can see what's happening, they are saying that the roommate was drunk, was in a dreamlike state, and they're saying that maybe this is what she saw, was in her room. But the prosecution is saying that the surviving roommate was sufficiently consistent with the important points about the description of the man in black.
Well, right. And actually, in a recent filing, we heard Judge Hippler comment that this roommate had given many interviews and that they essentially told the same version of the same story. He said that this roommate's own statements about her memory or the effects of alcohol were not enough to doubt her reliability. He also said that she was able to consistently articulate what she remembered. But it's perhaps no surprise that we see the defense trying to throw doubt wherever they can. This is a death penalty case. In fact, that's another development we learned in recent days. The defense has filed a motion to strike the death penalty, and they cited what they say is Kohberger's autism spectrum disorder as the reason. They're insinuating that Kohberger's autism and the way that he acts could bias the jury.
It's a really interesting argument. Let's start first with the definition from the National Institutes of Health. Autism spectrum disorder is a neurological and developmental disorder that affects how people interact with others, communicate, learn, and behave. The defense hired their own expert to assess Bryan Kohberger's ASD. And they say that Bryan Kohberger has many of the traits that line up with autism spectrum disorder. That his range of facial expressions is limited, and his expressions are sometimes incongruent with what is happening around him. He has these intense...
Okay, I'm going to say it. Not all autistic people are like that. Not, you know what I mean? Like, I don't play that card just because he looks off into the distance. That's him daydreaming of him getting out of jail.
Intense periods where he's staring, or what they say is an intense gaze.
Oh,
and
my goodness.
You've been in court. You've sat very close to Bryan Kohberger. I have sat very close to Bryan Kohberger. He has certain demeanors that stand out.
For anybody that's been following this case.
No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't have any demeanors at all. He just walks into court. He smirks a little bit, and then he walks back out of court. The dude is not autistic, in my opinion. And even if he is, his autism that's not what made him do this. It's not like, oh, I'm autistic, that made me unalive 4 people. We can't play that card. We can't do that. Oh, you can't put me to death because I'm autistic. Well, you didn't have autistic type tendencies when you were unaliving 4 people. Did you now?
You have heard descriptions of what Bryan Kohberger was like generally. If you've listened to our podcast, we were able to speak with some people who were part of his graduate program at Washington State University.
First visuals, no, now this.
The descriptions about his behavior is that he's a bit of a loner all the time. He was a bit of an outcast. He was a bit awkward. And his lawyers say flat out, it's no surprise that Kohberger came across as socially awkward. his lawyers writing that an impairment like that is a hallmark of his disability. And they think that will work against him in the court of law. And according to his lawyers, the neuropsychologist that evaluated Kohberger found that his autism spectrum disorder had a significant impact on his life.
Not only on his life, but on this case. The defense team is saying that he does not think the same, that it's difficult at times because of this ASD.
All right, thanks, Julie, as always, for your insight there on the ground in Moscow.
Thank you, Kana.
We'll be right back after a short break.
Yeah, he definitely knew right from wrong.
Listeners, are you looking? No tech genius.
Let's fast forward this. There we go.
We're going to talk now about DNA in these recent filings. Prosecutors say Kohberger's DNA was found on the knife sheath underneath Maddie, and that has been the linchpin in this case. As a reminder, Kohberger was arrested at his parents' home in Pennsylvania after a 6-week manhunt. Authorities used investigative genetic genealogy from the knife sheath DNA to link Kohberger to the crime. But what these newly released documents show us is more information about other DNA evidence. We've known that 3 other unidentified male profiles were found inside the home on King Road. But now we know where those samples were found. One was found in blood on a handrail between the first and second floor, the other on a glove outside the home. And in these new filings, there is mention of an unknown mixture of DNA underneath Maddie's fingernails. 3 separate profiles are present, according to the defense. It's a lot, but I want to narrow in on the DNA samples found under her fingernails, because the documents also show that the defense is trying to limit testimony related to that 3-person mixture. So we take this question to ABC News legal contributor Bryan Buckmeyer, because why would the defense want to exclude that information if the results don't seem to point directly to Kohberger?
The easy answer, and again, I'll just say I'm a former public defender, so I'm more aligned with what Ann Taylor does in this case, and so maybe my bias comes out in talking about this case to some degree. But the easy answer is when the DNA helps you, you want it in. When the DNA doesn't help you, you want it out. So I've done this exact argument in Brooklyn. Let me explain it, and I think after explaining it, you and your listeners will completely understand where the defense is going with this, right? So let's take a gun, for example. I touch it, you touch it, Julie touches it. They would not be able to distinguish my DNA from your DNA from Julie's DNA because so many contributors were on it. They would say it's inconclusive. Another reason why they might not say it's conclusive or it's inconclusive is they can only test, and this is specific to New York, if there are 20, and the way they measure DNA is picograms, if there are 20 picograms of that sample. So if for whatever reason, when I touch an object, my skin cells don't flake off at the same rate that yours do, for example, Kana, and I only drop 10 picograms of DNA, but you drop 30, there'd be male DNA on that object, but they would call that inconclusive. And what the defense is arguing here is if you can't say whether or not Bryan Kohberger is under these fingernails, what's the relevance of that information? All you're able to say is a human being is under this person's fingernails, and that's not relevant. That's not helping the jury, and that information should not be presented. Now, they took that information and took it to another lab. And again, I'm talking specifically to New York, can only calculate 20 picograms and 4 or less people. But there are other labs around the country that have more sensitive instruments. So they can detect less than 20 picograms. They can detect if 4 or more people have touched an object. So from my understanding is they went to another lab that has more sensitive instruments. And when they ran it through that instruments, they were able to say that Bryan Kohberger is excluded. Because in a case where someone has brutally murdered 4 individuals, you would suspect that there would be defensive wounds on that individual, and the victim would have scratched that person. And so if Bryan Kohberger's DNA is not under their fingernails, they've got a pretty decent argument there.
Does that independent lab result get presented to the jury? And is that something his defense team paid to do?
So yes and yes. So yes, it would be presented to the jury if the defense felt it necessary to put on their own case. And I would suspect that they would.
So why is his defense team then arguing that none of this should be admitted as opposed to arguing we want to make sure that we can let the jury know our independent lab cleared him in this instance?
So for two reasons. One is you want to get multiple bites at the apple. Let's say this. Let's say I say, Kana, I want to be on your podcast for a number of reasons. You dress really well. I'm a defense attorney, and I know like the strategy behind this. Is my strongest argument probably that I know the strategy of another public defender? Yeah, but I'm also going to have those other two arguments because maybe you're going to go, Bryan, I want Bryan on because I like his suits. And I don't know which argument's really going to win, so I just throw everyone out. And that's what every defense attorney does. The other reason is you're not just arguing to the judge in front of you, you're also arguing to the appellate judge. Because at some point in time, if Bryan Kohberger is found guilty, you cannot raise arguments on appeal that you did not raise at trial. And you don't know who that appellate judge is going to be. It's those two reasons why you throw everything at a judge.
The dressing well is definitely a better argument for TV than for audio, but for anyone listening, the man can dress. Okay, so we can't talk about these documents, though, without talking about the judge that is overseeing this case, Judge Hippler. He's moving this along rapidly. It's very different from the approach of Judge John Judge in Moscow. Judge Hippler has expressed frustration about the secrecy involving the case. Here's what he had to say during a hearing in January.
I am, as I told the parties yesterday, particularly sensitive about closing things when we don't need to. And I think that there has been to date a over caution in asking that I seal things by stipulation that perhaps don't need to be sealed.
There's been so much that we don't know, which is part of the reason why these filings have been so explosive, because this is some of the information that the public, that the journalists, and frankly, the families have been waiting so long to hear. So what do you think about this general commitment here to transparency on a case that the nation is watching?
I think this judge saw, as we all did, how, and I'm not trying to speak poorly of Judge John Judge or anyone else who was on the case prior to. I think it's a difference of opinion, difference of style. But I think this new judge saw how the families, the media, just the case in general, the public, saw how the information was rolling out and said, okay, we need a new change of course. We need one that will still uphold Bryan Kohberger's constitutional rights to a fair and impartial trial, but also inform those who are most interested in this case and have a vested interest in the facts as they come out. And so I think that's the balance that this new judge is trying to strike.
Obviously, the stakes of this case are huge. We know that Kohberger's defense team has tried to strike the death penalty before. That being said, they have not brought up the claim that their client has been diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder. This is new information to the judge and to the public. So why bring it up now, seemingly so late in the game?
So, again, I'm not a defense attorney on this team, but I can only theorize why. One main reason could be they didn't have the information. Maybe Bryan Kohberger wasn't evaluated. Maybe the report by whoever evaluated him wasn't done. When you evaluate an individual, especially one who's incarcerated, you've got to cut through the red tape of, hey, I need an expert to go and sit down and talk with my client. So it's a red tape of getting that done. The other thing too could just be strategy. Maybe they think this is one of their stronger arguments and they wanted to kind of leave it on the last doorstep of this case, kind of like the final push. In 2002, there was a Supreme Court case called Atkins v. Virginia. And in that Supreme Court case, it basically said, the United States of America cannot put people who have severe disability to death. So that just became the law of the land.
Severe disability.
That snowballed into making different arguments, a lot of them, which we are seeing here now. There are 5 main arguments in this 28-page motion. The first 3, I would say, could be categorized as he has ASD, and because of that, he is not culpable enough, like not guilty enough to be executed. Executing people with ASD falls in line with that kind of idea that we can't do this. The Supreme Court says we can't do it. The fourth argument is a very unique one. I haven't seen it, very interesting. But everyone has the right in what's going to be a bifurcated case. And what I mean by bifurcated is first the jury will decide guilt or innocence, and then the jury will decide the sentencing as to whether or not he gets put to death. I don't think Bryan Kohberger's going to testify at the guilt phase to decide whether or not he's guilty or not. Maybe he will, but if I'm a betting man, I say no. But if he's found guilty, I definitely think it would behoove him or be in his interest to testify at that sentencing phase. And that's what the defense is talking about here. That if he was to take that opportunity to testify in that sentencing phase, to fight for his life, his mannerisms and the way his affect is, people will look at him and be like, that looks like a cold-blooded killer. That's going to take away his right to be able to defend himself, and that's why the death penalty should not be there. I think they bolster that argument in the fifth and final argument of this motion of saying, look, the media is already doing it. We're looking at him in these pictures, and we're looking at social media and the way people describe him as this menacing figure. It's already happening. And that's going to taint the jury. That's going to happen again when he testifies in the sentencing phase. And because of that, ASD should rule out the death penalty.
And just sort of lastly and generally from a defense attorney standpoint, you don't think that some of this throwing everything at the wall is being done to avoid being accused of being ineffective counsel? Right.
No, I think what it is you have a public defender, a person who went to law school and chose to pick a profession where they feel they are representing individuals that, but for them, would not have the form of representation that Ann Taylor is giving, which I still think is amazing. And they're trying to save someone's life. And so if you were in the mindset of, I am doing the righteous work of a public defender and trying to save someone's life, you throw everything at the wall to try to do so. And I think that's what Ann Taylor is doing. And I think, say what you want about Bryan Kohberger, but if you were sitting in his seat, you would want a person to throw everything at the wall to save your life.
Well, Bryan, as always, we appreciate your analysis on the legality of all of this, but also your commitment to this story. Thank you for being here with us.
Absolutely. My pleasure.
As a reminder, a not guilty plea has been entered on Kohberger's behalf. We've recently learned from a filing by the prosecution that Kohberger's defense team plans to argue that their client's DNA on the knife sheath does not prove he was ever in the home. The filing suggests the defense will argue the knife sheath itself could have been planted by the real perpetrator. Kohberger remains the only suspect in the case. One other update before we go. Idaho's Governor Brad Little just signed a bill to make Idaho the only state in the country where firing squad is the main means of execution. This will go into effect in July of 2026. And that does it for this bonus episode.
That makes no sense. That makes no sense. They just put someone to death firing squad last week. Hold on, let me remove this. Put me big. There we go. I'm like, put me up there, guys. Put me up there. Put me up there. Put me in, coach. Okay, so that was the newest episode of that podcast that we've been reviewing. Like I said, if you're just now coming in, I have all of the other podcasts that belong within this like series on my playlist under the Idaho 4 playlist or the case against Bryan Kohberger. Because for some reason, I have two playlists going at the same time for this case. I don't know why. I was going to put one for just like, the trial part and then all the other stuff. And it didn't work out. It didn't work out that way. But I wanted to play you guys the 911 call again, just one more time. I know that you guys have probably heard this so many times. You're like, I've heard it enough. But I have the hiccup, sorry. But who is it? Pretty Lies and Alibis did a video and I have it in my description. And she put in the text, like the closed captioning, kind of like how we had it the other night, but she cleaned up the audio a lot. So I thought we would play her video. I do have it linked in the description and I'm going to put it in the chat right now. That way you guys can go over, give a review, subscribe, all the things. And we'll probably pause it here too for commentary.
11:55 a.m. 42 seconds, November 13, 2022.
911 location of your emergency.
Hi, something is happening. Something happened in our house. We don't know what.
What is the address of the emergency?
1122.
What is the rest of the address?
Oh, Kings Road.
Okay. And is that a house or an apartment?
It's a house.
Can you repeat the address to make sure that I have it right?
I'll talk to you guys. We live at the White, so we're next to them.
I need someone to repeat the address for verification.
The address, 1122 King Road.
And what's the phone number that you're calling from?
What? 3731.
Hey,
Tell me
Otto.
exactly what's going on.
One of the roommates is passed out, and she was drunk last night, and she's not waking up.
Okay.
Oh, and they saw some man in their house last night. Yeah. Hi,
and are you?
Yeah, and they saw some man in their house last night. Like, that's terrifying.
With the patient? Okay, I need someone to keep the phone, stop passing it around.
Can I just tell you what happened pretty much?
What is going on currently? Is someone passed out right now?
I don't really know, but pretty much at 4 a.m.
Okay, I need to.
I think she says that she doesn't really know because I don't think she's seen anything. I think that maybe Hunter went in and he saw what he saw and then he told everyone to get out. And that's kind of how Steve Gonzalez has said it too. And he's talked to Hunter.
To know what's going on right now if someone is passed out. Can you find that out?
Yeah, I'll come. Come on, but we gotta go check. But we have to.
See, somebody doesn't want to go back in. Like, I don't know who does. I don't know if it's Bethany or what, but obviously somebody doesn't want to go back into the house.
Did you have that? What's wrong? She's not waking up.
Okay, one moment. I'm getting help started that way.
Okay, thank you.
The breathing.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, and how old is she?
She's 20.
20, you said?
Yes, 20. Here's one.
Okay.
Hello? Hello?
Okay, I need someone to stop passing the phone around because I've talked to 4 different people.
Okay, sorry, they just gave me the phone.
Is she breathing?
Hello?
Is she breathing?
No.
Okay.
Bethany, the one I need you to talk to them, okay? I can't talk to them, they need you to talk to them.
Hello?
Okay. I've already sent the ambulance and law enforcement. Stay on the line. If there is a defibrillator available, send someone to get it now and tell me when you have it.
Say that again? There's a police here right now.
Okay. If there is a defibrillator available, send someone to get it now and tell me when you have it.
We don't have one. I think yes. Do you have a defibrillator? Yes, we have one.
Are you talking to the officer?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to let you go since he's there with you and can help you.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Okay.
11:59 a.m. 49 seconds, November 13, 2022.
I was trying to read up on a defibrillator just to get, like, I know what it is, but I wanted to see what, like, survival rate was. I mean, I don't think there's anything that a defibrillator could have done in this instance at all. I was just curious. He says defibrillation within 3 to 5 minutes of collapse, 3 to 5 minutes. So survival rates go up to 50 to 70%. Each minute of delay reduces the probability of survival to hospital discharge by 10%. So, in my opinion, there's nothing that those girls could have done, you know? I think it's because the cops were there. Like, that's why they were like, ask if there's or do you have a defibrillator? And hey, Southernish. Yeah, nothing would have worked. Yeah, auto. Yeah, nothing would have worked. It's crazy. It's sad. Ethan's mom came out and did an interview. I have it on my channel. She did an interview and she said that they may go to trial. It's like up there, you know. I think that they might have been on a dual call with the cops, maybe when she said that, like, do you have a defibrillator? I think she might have been talking to like the cops, maybe, because like the officers, there's like a certain spot in the phone call where the dispatch is talking to just the officers. But yeah, that was kind of weird because I was like, who would have a defibrillator in their house? Like, I mean, that's something like I would have a defibrillator just because I have random weird stuff like, you know what I mean? Like that. I just do, but I mean, I don't have a defibrillator. That's surprising. That's actually surprising, but I don't have one. Everywhere has defibrillators where you live, Pandan. And yeah, I mean, it could be something that they do there. Yeah, Southernish, we've been following this interview. What's her name? Keena Wentworth or something like that. But she's done a really good job on these podcasts. They seem like they would be. And also, what was I going to say? Now we kind of know, like the whole, you know, how it went down with the unconscious to, you know, because it went from unconscious to she's not breathing, but that was like, it took a long time to get there, you know. So I don't know. I just it's a mess. That 911 call though is heartbreaking. It is. Hearing those girls, I mean, that breathing, you can't make that breathing up. Like that breaks my heart. That hurts my heart for them people. All of those kids, even though they're 19, 20, they're still kids. I mean, think about yourself when you were 19 or 20. Most of us were acting like kids still. You know, I mean, we really were. We weren't acting like we were all grown and we weren't out of the house and doing all the things yet. I know I wasn't. And I know a lot of people that are my age, they weren't like, you know, wasn't like that for them either. Yeah, she talks to everyone at the same time. Yeah. And yeah, they have to be direct because they want to get to the patient. They don't care about what happened the night before because they know investigators will be there to discuss that. You know, what happened to get us here. Her job is just to get that patient to the hospital or get help to them, you know, as soon as possible. I know a lot of people are like, she's rude. I mean, that's any dispatcher. They're all kind of like that. They're supposed to be like where you keep your feelings out of it. Although I'm sure it's hard to do that sometimes, but that's the way that they're supposed to be acting, which is, you know, yep, direct and take control. Yeah, right, Reba. Yeah. Well, you know, you have to. Southernish, that's perfect. Sometimes surviving is the hardest part. Yeah. Yep. And oh man. Yeah, he was, Karina. I didn't even think about that. I don't know why. He was a lot older than them, though. Like, Oh, you think that might have been Hunter breathing after what he saw? Yeah, it could have been. Mr. Gonzalez did have a lot to say. I have the interview. I posted it on today because he did an interview with Ashley Banfield last night. He said that he's talked to Hunter before, so he knows what's going on. They were aware of the 911 call this time. They weren't like it didn't just come out on the internet and then they saw it on the internet. You know what I mean? It wasn't any of that, which is good because normally that's how they find out stuff, and which I think is wrong. A lot of people are like, they don't have the right to know, blah, blah, blah. I think they have every right in the world to know before the public has the right to know anything that's going on with their daughter's case. I mean, that's just me. If I was Steve or Christy and I saw that house being torn down and they told me that it was going to be torn down at 7:00 and I was sitting there at 6:45 and half the house is gone, like those things, I would get upset about that. Those are things I would be upset about. Just to have a little more empathy, imagine if this was you going through this. And a lot of people, make fun of them for the GoFundMe and they say things about the GoFundMe. Let them have the GoFundMe. I'm sure they would give every single penny back to have their daughter. Like people that really think that they're in this for money, I can't comprehend that. I can't comprehend that. Yeah, they do have the right to hear this first. Yeah. Hey, Classic One. How are you doing? Jenna said my heart breaks for these young men and women. Yeah, me too. I know it is sickening how people are so critical of Kaylee's parents. I think they're doing what they are doing. That's just, every family is different, every they grieve differently, I mean, some grieve together, some grieve separately. It's hard to say. I mean, how people would act if they were in this situation. I hope I never have to be in this situation. I hope I'm never a parent and something ever happens to my child. Because these kids were doing like absolutely nothing wrong. That's like the biggest part of this whole story. It's like they really truly weren't doing anything wrong. They were just in bed. I mean, they weren't even out like drinking and then driving or drinking and acting a fool or, none of that stuff. None of them were. Right, DM? Who else is going to advocate for her? And those are the best advocates that she could have. They were being college kids. They definitely were Southernish. And they were being good college kids, Because I know when I was in college, I was doing some crazy stuff. Let me tell you. I was a crazy cat back then. Man, Karina, that is, yeah. A lot of people like to, yeah, Roxanne, not even just this case. It's they'll go after parents in every case. It's like they're easy targets or something to them. And it's really messed up. Yeah, right, Southernish. That's what I said. I was bad when I was younger. Between like 22 to 24. Yeah, don't get on the road with me around. So she may attend. I'm assuming her husband would attend with her. I don't know about the kids, if they would want to attend. I mean, they're old enough to like attend the trial, his brother and sister. So I have a feeling a lot of people, hey, True Crime Lullabies, and hey, Princess. I have a feeling a lot of people are going to show up for trial. Like, I think that we may see Hunter Johnson there. We might see his girlfriend there. We might see, the whole Chapin family there. I think Maddie's mom and dad are, I don't know. I think they said they wanted to go for some of it. They wanted to be there for some of it, but not for like all of it. Some days they said they would take off, just like the Gonzalez family. I think they're all going to probably take off when it's like goes into like the gruesome details and they show pictures and stuff of their loved ones, I think they'll probably sit out of court on those days, which is totally acceptable to me. I would never want to see my loved one in that condition, especially my child. So have a good evening, Nikki. Good night. But I think that's all I really have for you guys. That was only like an hour-long live. That was a very short live. Is anybody doing anything fun this weekend? I know that, let me see if I can show you. I don't know if you can see them from there. Oh, wait, let me go this way. You can kind of see them. I got these new little, let me go get them. Let me go grab them. So since oh, thanks, Otto. I had no tornadoes come at you. So if you haven't been to the channel in a little while, we redecorated. We redid everything. Well, back here, I got this big old jug. It's like pottery. And I bought white flowers to go on these white flowers were supposed to go on my wall, but I didn't like the way they looked on white. So I moved them over there, but now I don't like that pot with the white flowers because it just looks weird. So I got these today. Hopefully these will look nice. You'll have to tell me when I put them in, but they need cut down. So I got like these little fluffy things to put in there. We're going to see, but they're super tall. So like, wait, let me go the right way. There we go. They're like really, really, really tall. So I have to have Vincent cut them back, and he fell asleep earlier. He's taking a little nap. But I got them at Hobby Lobby. They were on sale. Thanks, Otto. I actually did I did my makeup and my hair today for Vincent. Instead of you guys for once. I usually get ready at night. I swear I don't get ready during the day because if I'm here and I'm not really doing much, I don't really get ready. But then when I know like I have to be on here, I want to look nice for you guys. So thanks, Otto. We worked really, really hard on it. We got new carpeting, new everything. No, I didn't know Southern Issue got a new puppy. What kind of puppy? You should have heard about what my dog did. Oh my gosh. You should There's a dog right now out there without an eyeball because of my dog. Oh my God. I can't believe she did what she did. She bad. Where is she? She's not even in here. My dog got in a fight. My dog got in a fight. It wasn't my dog's fault. I'm going to say that first and foremost. I'm going to take up for her to the day that I die. We were walking outside, and there's somebody downstairs that she's not supposed to be living there. I don't think she's on the lease. She has 2 dogs. She's living with her daughter. Well, they're 2 dogs that they've run out the door a few times, I guess. And to the point where another neighbor had to take them and put them back in their apartment. They were nowhere to be around, right? My dogs are always on a leash because I live on the 2nd floor. I put them on the leash up here upstairs. So I had them leashed. I had them retracted. And my dog is old. I mean, like she used to be like aggressive when she was younger, but she hasn't been aggressive in years upon years upon years. And we walk outside. I peek around the corner every time. It's just a thing I do just to make sure those 2 little dogs aren't outside because one of them is a pit bull. And I'm afraid that Araya and that pit bull will get in a fight, or Araya would go after the small dog because she doesn't like small dogs. If they're little like this, she thinks they're toys. I don't know what it is. She doesn't like them. But if it's a big dog, she won't do anything. She's cool as cool could be. Well, this dog ran out the back door. I pull my dogs back, trying to get my dogs back, but I can't because I'm on the ground all of a sudden. I'm on the ground, trying to pull 2 dogs back. One's 90 pounds. She's just standing there like, what's going on? Araya went like this with the dog in its mouth. Like I saw her do that, like bite it. And I did see that part. And I was like, oh my gosh. And I guess she just threw the dog, I guess, on the ground. And then that was it. Then she walked over and sat down. And then the pit bull come running out, and the pit bull sat down right beside her, and they didn't fight. Nothing happened. They just sat beside each other. And I'm like, what is going on? So she cost me, it's a lot. I could just say, hey, it's not my dog's fault, but I'm not that person. So yeah, the dog had to have surgery, had to have his eye removed. Yeah, I did. And my dog is she's just so sweet. I don't know what got into her, but it was like, I went down there to talk about it, right? Talk to them about it. And they wanted me to pay the whole bill. And I was like, I was like, kind of got a little upset with the lady. Like, I was like, now, come on, your dog wasn't on a leash. You know, like the rules here are your dog has to be on a leash. That's just the rule. I mean, I can't, my dog was on a leash. What else do I do? If there's a dog running at her, you know, like, so, I feel terrible. I feel so bad. Like, I just feel so bad. Yeah, you were going through that too, Southern-ish. Seeing you had to put your dog down. Oh gosh, you did, didn't you put your dog down? See, like, because and she said something like, well, do I need to call the Humane Society or something like that? And I said, you're not going to use that shit. I said, you're not doing that. Because she said, my grandson's scared. And he was running around laughing at the time. And I'm like, you're not using that as an excuse. No, sirree, ma'am. I straight said it. I was like, these are like my kids. I will fight to the death. See, Southern-ish, that's why I didn't even want to chance it. Yeah, so we gave him $300 for the first vet bill, which was $313. And then I'm going to give her like more than what I make in a month. She's getting from me. So, you know, I said to Vincent, when me and him get up to heaven, right? We better just walk straight through the pearly gates. Like, don't stop us and say, hey, do you remember the time? I don't want to do any of that. I don't want no questions asked. I just want to be able to walk on through the pearly gates. Katie, I know, but that's what Vincent was saying. He was like, we have leash laws in here in Ohio. You have to have your animal on a leash. Yeah. Yeah. It's a lot. Oh, thanks, Karma, for the 999. Thank you. She said you were one of the great creators. Thank you. I appreciate that so much. I appreciate it. I'm not going to pay the whole one. I'm paying most of it, or over half. But she did get a loan. So this is what's saving my butt. She got a loan, so we're going to pay it in payments. You know what I mean? I'm going to give her like 100 and some a month until it's paid off. Yeah. I know you can feel what I'm feeling like right now, Southern-ish. I can't imagine what you went through. Especially now knowing that I almost went through, you know what I mean? Like, and I don't think that the Humane Society would do anything to her because like, I mean, what's a dog supposed to do if another dog was running at it? Like, you know, like we were past her house when that dog flew out. And like, you know what I mean? Like, I just couldn't give, and we went that way for 8 years. This isn't something like, oh, there's 2 dogs living downstairs, you know, let's just switch it up a little bit. It's like, we were so used to just doing that, you know, and going that way that it's just, that's what we're used to doing. And so now we go to the left and we try to take them on walks and I gave her my schedule when I take my dogs out. The first day that we were supposed to follow the schedule, her dog was outside. I was like, how are you going to be doing me like that? Yeah, although she did. Yeah. I wouldn't. Oh, Southern-ish, you're so strong. I mean, bless your heart. Oh my God. I couldn't. I can't. I'm not good at end of life with animals. I'll admit it. Like I am one of those. I am a flighter to the day. I won't always be a flighter. I was a fighter once because I had to be because Vincent didn't know what to do and I had to do CPR. But I'm normally a flighter when it comes to that side. Like, you know, animals can't talk to you and tell you how they feel or what they're doing, you know? Like maybe she was just having a really rough day, you know? We all have rough days where we like snap at somebody and like get upset, you know? I just feel so bad. She quarantined herself when we came back up here. She was like, she knew she messed up. Like, and that's why she sat there, I think, after she did it. And I don't think she realized what she did. I don't think she realized she hurt that dog that bad. And I didn't realize she hurt that dog that bad because that dog wasn't really like making noise. Like, it wasn't like, you know, like making bad noises. It just wasn't doing anything. It wasn't like limp or nothing either. It was just like a regular dog. It was just sitting there. I know. I felt like asking a lawyer. I felt like I call him like my old lawyer, being like, hey, man, remember me? Haven't used you in a while, but I need to have a question. Because if that's like, because the law is you have to be on a leash. And mine was on a leash. Both of them were. And there was nothing I could do. I was on the ground. Like I was literally like, I fell because I was trying to walk backwards, you know? Yeah. What kind of dog did you get? Oh. Oh. Did you adopt? I adopted Araya and I don't regret adopting her whatsoever. I don't. I love her. And I told her, I said, I've paid more in fines for you now. I said, than your sister's cost. Cause like when we paid for the Weimaraner, you know what I mean? Like, so she was like, I think she was like 1,600 or something, but it was like, we paid it in 800 and 800. And this was like 7 years ago for the one sleeping back. Look, sleeping back here. She's out, y'all. She's out. I wish the other one was in here so I could show you her because she's so cute. She's got wrinkles and everything. Golden Mountain Doodle. I like all that. I love golden doodles. Oh, it happened in your home. See, that's why I don't bring people up in my house. I don't bring anyone here. I'm like, let's not go to my house. I mean, just because like Araya, she likes to nibble on me a little bit, you know, when I'm petting her, she'll get excited and like try to nibble, but not bite, just nibble. Like she would never bite me, I don't think. Maybe, hell, I don't know. Dogs are dogs, you know, they could do anything. But the big one just stood there the whole time during the fight. But I felt so bad for that dog. I still do. His name's Riley. He's 11 years old. I was glad that he made it through the surgery, you know, but I went down there and I did talk to them 3 different times, actually. The one girl was super nice. The daughter, she's just wants everybody to, like, she doesn't want any problems, you know, I mean, we're neighbors. And I'm like, I don't either. So let me just help with this bill. It'll help me feel better anyway, because my dog did do that stuff to that dog. And that makes me feel terrible. But it's not her fault at the same time. But it is her fault kind of at the same time. Do you know, like, I wish I could have retracted her more, but I don't think that there would have been anything I could do once she was already on her, you know? But yeah, Karina, maybe she will. I would. I will. I'll give him the hugs from Ladybug. Yeah, look at her. She does look so cute back there. Hey, were you sleeping? Are you sleeping? Hi. Hi, Mia. Are you ready for bed? You're not supposed to be on the chair. I cleaned that chair, right? And I was like, she's not going to sit on it anymore. I'm not going to let her lay on it anymore. She's chilling. She's chilling till I get up, and then she's up my butt. When I was downstairs at the neighbor's house, I kept looking behind myself. I was like, I'm thinking my dog should be there. Oh, thank you, Zaza. And I'm glad that you got another dog, Southern-ish. Because when we lost our dog, she died just very unexpectedly, but we went and got a Weimaraner. She was half Weimaraner, half pit. weirdest dog combination. So we got a Weimaraner, and then 2 months later we got the pit boxer mix, and then we got the Weimaraner 2 months later. So yeah, she's acting like, yeah, little angel. She actually is the angel. She's not. I lied. She growls at Araya when she's in like the bed. She'll growl like she doesn't even know what she's doing, and then Araya's afraid to get up there. Yeah. These dogs have not a care in the world, not a worry in the world. Not a worry. They're spoiled. But yeah, hopefully everything continues to go okay with my dogs and me taking them out. And hopefully if that lady is going to like live here, like she lets people know, or she leaves or something with her dogs. Because I know for a fact that Mallard Landing would not put her there. Just wouldn't put her there. I don't understand why. I mean, her daughter, I guess, is letting her stay there. I don't know. But she just gave me a little hard time. But thank you for being here tonight. I appreciate you. That lady does need to learn. Yeah. This has been an experience, let me tell you. I'm just glad that, nothing happened to my dog. But I don't think that it would, but I'm glad that it didn't, because I couldn't imagine just even getting a knock from the Humane Society, like knock, knock, knock. You know what I mean? Thanks, Otto. Maybe I'll send you down there. Send Otto. Yeah, Sirius. I hope Sirius starts to feel better too. Well, thank you guys all for being here. I appreciate it. Thanks for talking to me afterwards for a little while and hearing my dog story. I did say it on my other channel. I still haven't put out my video for my second channel. I want to put it out, and then I keep forgetting. I think I want to make it a little better. I don't know. We'll see. I'll probably put it out there tomorrow for you guys. And then I'm going to put that stuff, like some of them videos I'm going to put on members only. And then I think some of them will still be there, but most of them will be on members only. Like the ones that don't really like go with my channel, and that way that people can still watch them for a little while longer before I delete them off of there. Because it's going to be more of like life vlogging and stuff. And I want to try to keep it all like on topic. I don't know. But there's going to be so many different topics over there. It's going to be crazy. So I don't even know what kind of channel it's going to be. It's going to be a little bit of everything. But thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thanks for having Araya's back. She'll appreciate that. I think she's in the bed with Vincent. So it's me and Mia over here. But thank you guys for being here tonight. I appreciate it so much. Thanks for the super chats, the memberships, the likes, the just being here watching the live with me. I appreciate it. I'll see you guys all tomorrow. Have a wonderful evening, and I'll see you tomorrow at 9:30 or 9:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Bye, guys.
Just like the street lights lit this town, like a fire in a blaze, gotta burn it down. Can't be afraid to leave this out. We got this far, don't know how. I see danger in your eyes. They know we'll burn down the night. Coming just like the sunrise. You know that we're gonna light it up tonight. We're gonna light it up tonight. We're gonna light it up just like the sunrise. We're gonna light it up. Just like a spark.